Welcome back to another informative episode of the Seek Podcast. As today we are trying to seek knowledge to comprehend the world that we live in. It's episode 156, a historical quest through American immigration.
Yeah.
Featuring Dr. Ryan T. Guntzel. And today we're going to be discussing a highly requested topic, immigration.
Yeah, a lot of you guys have been commenting on our last podcast that we should do a video about immigration. Johan the Y63 actually commented, "Awesome stuff, guys. Could you do an episode on the differences between immigration in the United States from the 18 and early 1900s and modern day?" First of all, great question, Johan the Y63. We've done some research. We found the expert, and that's what we're going to be seeking today in the Seek podcast.
So in order to help us understand this topic to a high degree, we brought a special guest, expert, a renowned historian, and author, Dr. Ryan T. Guntzel. Welcome to the show.
Hey, good to have you.
Thank you guys for having me. Thank you guys for having me.
Hey, sit down. Let's get this party started.
Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, I'm honored to be here. Thank you guys so much for having me. I heard you guys have been the most streamed podcast this month on Spotify. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thanks to guests like you being able to participate in our podcast. We've gained a mass amount of followers.
Yeah, Doctor, the honor's honestly ours. We always love to bring in guests to expand our knowledge on the topics that they know best, which in your case is immigration.
Yeah, so walk us through your upcoming novel, Walking a Mile in Their Shoes, releasing this summer.
Yeah, so this new book I've been working on, I'm super excited about. It's about the hardships of immigrants through America's history and present day. I decided to see what they see, feel what they feel, do what they do. I spent 6 months going through the immigration process to find out all there is to know. I quite literally put myself in their shoes.
I'm honestly intrigued. It sounds like a must-read this summer. Make sure to use promo code SEEK at drguntzel.shop to get a 10% discount on his book.
Now, let's begin this quest to American immigration.
Okay, so, Dr. Guntzel, what is the key difference between the progressive era and modern day immigration?
Yeah, so thank you for bringing that up. Most people think they are relatively the same, and if you look at the facts, they are. So the reason most people are immigrating into the U.S. has not changed in well over a century.
Okay.
People are still immigrating for economic opportunities. One reason that has increased, though, is people looking for religious freedoms.
Okay.
That's interesting. What are some pull factors that make people want to leave Europe during this progressive era?
Weren't there several food shortages during this time? Like, there was a severe potato famine during the 1800s, correct?
So that's true. Between the years of 1840 and 1860, most immigrants coming to America were from Ireland. Food shortages played a huge part in that time to push people to America.
So the biggest reason, though, it was still by far economic, correct?
Yes, that would be right.
Okay, so then, in your experience, what is the biggest factor for immigration as of recently, like modern times? Because there's been a lot about immigration in the news these days and just a lot of interest in it.
Yeah, so the biggest factors in recent times is continuing to be economic factors.
So that would just be jobs and stuff, to be clear?
Yeah, so that's the main point of it. Right now, about 60% of immigrants come from North America, and 90% of those come from Mexico. Most of those people are coming here for economic opportunities, looking for jobs, looking for that American dream, trying to get rich.
Okay.
I've been seeing a lot of stuff on like social media and the news about immigration and the problems with it. What are some problems that you know about?
Yeah, so one large problem America deals with is just illegal immigration. People are coming in and they're not supposed to, right?
So, on average, what do you think, how many immigrants coming into the United States enter illegally?
Yeah, so right about now, our guess is a quarter of all immigrants actually are coming in illegally.
Okay.
And what would the problems that come with illegal immigration?
Yeah, so statistically, a majority of immigrants are below the poverty line in America. Because of this, a massive amount of public funds is allocated to help those immigrants each year. This is because the government claims responsibility of helping the poor.
That's fascinating. Are drugs also a problem?
Yeah, so another big issue we've been facing is a large amount of drugs are being smuggled into the U.S.
I'm glad you're finally trying to understand something for once, unlike last episode.
That's funny, but I'm pretty thirsty.
I really could use a cold beverage as well.
Doctor, would you like an ice cold Zevia by chance? They just signed me to be the sponsor of the podcast today.
Really?
No, for real.
Oh.
Well, Zevia has a multitude of flavors like cherry cola, creamy root beer, and Dr. Zevia.
Yeah. It has 0 sugar, 0 calories, 0 sodium, 0 fat. It tastes just like any other name brand quality pop. So take your choice, doctor.
Man, I would really just love this creamy root beer here.
Take a doctor's easier.
Crack one open. Now, after that good ad break, let's jump back right into it.
Yeah, so there are a couple more potential downsides to illegal immigration.
So one of these problems is that immigrants are taking jobs from legal American citizens, correct?
Yeah, so this is one of the main problems, especially for everyday Americans just searching for jobs.
Got it.
Interesting. Can we shift our focus towards immigration problems during the Progressive Era?
During my brief research, I learned that cities in this time were getting massively overpopulated, right?
Yeah, so that's the common consensus between us historians. The overpopulation led to many negative effects on the entire population of those cities, not just the immigrants. Some of the big problems included inadequate water facilities, poor sanitation, and disease.
How did the cities affected by these problems handle this?
Yeah, so the cities actually did not really do anything about it. It was in fact the U.S. government. They added restrictions on immigration to prohibit immigration of certain populations.
Some of my research led me to the alien contract labor laws and other acts during the Progressive Era that excluded certain immigrant populations.
So how well did these acts do in tackling immigration problems?
That's a good question.
So in American history, we see a consistent rise in the level of immigration since the birth of America, except for, of course, during the American Civil War. But when those acts were put in place, we saw the rise in immigration actually come to a halt and even start decreasing in the late 1800s.
Interesting. So then, why would you say that immigration levels began to rise during the late 1900s or 1800s?
The economy in the United States was booming. More people than ever in the has wanted to come to the United States.
Were there any specific laws during this time that influenced immigration more?
Is the Immigration and Nationality Act of 1865 relevant to the increase?
To be brief, this act is a created system where immigrants that had something to offer the U.S. were favored into coming. This could be a skilled worker or just someone that's already got family here. So it definitely had some significance in terms of the increase in immigration levels.
Were there any other attempts made to limit immigration in the Progressive Era?
I can't think of any. What about you, Doctor?
Nah, we've discussed the key limitations already put in place.
Okay. So do we have any more modern problems then?
Like drugs, for instance, that are being illegally smuggled into the United States? Has that increased with immigration?
Yeah, so that is true. So the amount of drugs that have come into the United States has risen dramatically with the rise of immigration.
Interesting.
Would a solution then be increased border security?
To me that sounds like a good idea that could solve many of the problems associated with modern day immigration.
Would another solution to be then increased deportation of illegal immigrants?
Well, deportation is a controversial topic to many. In theory, it is a very plausible solution.
Let's wrap this up quickly. So, Dr. Guntzel, do you have any other closing thoughts on our discussion?
Well, I think our viewers are going to be very happy with everything they learned today. I think we tackled all the key points with the past and present immigration problems.
It was a great episode to inform viewers on historical topics.
Hey, thank you all for joining us today, especially special guest Dr. Ryan T. Guntzel.
Yeah, hey guys, thank you so much for having me.
I know.
Thank you so much for having me. Hey, you guys have a great podcast.
All right, see you, man.